Hello everybody, this is Jessica and this is Vote 2 Minute Warning. Thank you for joining me today. I realize I'm a day behind, but I appreciate it because this is our 10th week together all, which means we are just over 7 weeks away from, say it with me, the date we're all waiting on, Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Now, I added an asterisk to the bottom of this note because there is another special day coming up, September 22nd, 2020. So September 22nd is going to be deemed voter registration day this year. What does that mean? Well, that means that there's going to be a lot of promotion around registering to vote. But guess what? We've been at this for 10 weeks. You are already registered to vote. I believe that in my heart of hearts. And if you're not, then lie to me and just go get it done right now, and then you'll be ready to go. We are rapidly closing in on our windows closing and being able to register. Once we get into October, that's when things are going to get a little bit dicey. So there's no excuse to wait. There's nothing. You don't get to vote better. You don't get to vote longer. Your vote doesn't matter more if you wait. So this is the opportunity. Take the opportunity. Get registered to vote. Get ready to rock and roll on November 3rd, 2020. So that's our date. So I was thinking about this week about the actual voting process. And there was a topic I wanted to kind of talk about that I think we mentioned really briefly very early on, but I wanted to reiterate that. So let's say you've registered to vote, because I believe in you. You've registered to vote. You've got your registration. If you had registered already, you check to make sure your registration is still valid, because that's what we've got to do, make sure you're ready to rock and roll. And now you're ready to vote. So what I wanted to talk about was when you register to vote, this is probably more pertaining to first-time voters or younger voters. When you register to vote, one of the things they ask you to do is to choose a political party. And my guess is that for some of you, that's probably feels like a much larger question, than maybe it really is, right? So it's asking you to say what party you affiliate yourselves with. And I'm sure for some, first-time voters, maybe that's something that you've never thought about before, or that feels like a much larger question than it is. And when you register, you have the option to choose, Democrat, Republican. You can choose, I think, Green Party, Libertarian. There's a bunch of different options there. You get to choose. The thing I wanted to mention about that is you do have to make a selection, but it only really matters in two areas. So the first is when you register, you choose a party, and that's the party that you get to vote with in the primary. So in the primary, basically what you're choosing is somebody to represent your party in a certain election, right? So whatever you might be choosing at that time, mayor, governor, president, district attorney, all those things, right? You're choosing to choose a person to represent that party, okay? The other way that it matters is, I think, probably for numbers, right? Because Lord knows there's enough polls out there that you can read up on that'll tell you everything you need to know about voting ever. So they're probably going to maintain those numbers for registration purposes to kind of get an idea of how many people there are representing each party. But this is the big thing. In the general election, it does not matter at all what party you're registered for, okay? So when you sit down to fill out your mail-in ballot, or you go to the polling location, or you decide to vote early and you get in there, at that point, you get to choose the person that you believe is best suited for that job, and it does not matter what political party they're associated to, okay? Now, when I've voted in the past, the ballot will kind of have two options for you. One will say, there's a box that'll say at the bottom you can choose to just vote your party if you want to, and it's usually just the Democrat and Republican options that are there, right? So you fill in a circle, and it'll automatically just assign, anybody within that party will be who you vote for. The other option is that you go individually through each person that's running, right? And then you make those decisions that way. And keep in mind, you can vote for a Republican mayor and a Democratic governor and a independent district attorney if you want to. All of those are your choice. And here's the other cool news that I'm going to tell you. The only thing that is available on public record are two things. One, that you're registered to vote, and two, that you did vote, okay? What you do that day is completely and 100% up to you. There will be no other human being on earth who knows how you voted unless you decide to tell them, okay? So rest assured that no matter what is happening in your world. Maybe you live in a household or with roommates or in an area you work amongst people who maybe don't share the same political views that you do, but maybe you're not confrontational, so you don't really want to have those conversations and it makes you uncomfortable. But so you kind of nod your head along. When you go into the ballot box that day, or you send in it is 100% your choice, and you will be the only person that knows it, no matter what, right? The only thing we'll know is that you voted and that you got registered, and I'll be really excited that you got registered and you voted. But it's completely up to you. So remember, we've talked about this a lot. I even heard it talked about last night. I watched a show called Fear of Missing Out, the vote. They want to be us. They want to be as cool as us, talking about voting. I get it. All right, we're trendsetters. But remember, they talked a lot about your why last night, right? The thought of who do you want to hire for this position, right? And what world do you want to wake up in on November 4th, right? Who do you want to be in charge? Who do you want to have ownership over the things that matter to you? And please do not forget about your local elections, right? Those folks are making very serious decisions for you on a daily basis that will directly affect you immediately, right? So I know the presidential election is kind of the big story. That's what you're going to hear the most about. But don't forget about those down ballot folks that are running too, that also will impact your life. So get your why in mind, get your plan to vote, right? Locate your polling place, or the manner by which you're going to be able to vote, mail in, early, all that good stuff. Please, 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 if you're going to do mail in, right? I still haven't seen the ballot we sent in for my friend Carly a couple weeks ago. So get that requested, because you're going to run out of time very quickly, because we're about a month and a half away. Okay? So this is Jessica. I am believing in you that you're registered, but if you're not, go do it. Check your registrations, make your plan, and vote your heart. I will talk to you guys next week. Take care.
The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some strangers